B Marsh Boxing back at it with another boxing video. So Danny Garcia, the WBC mandatory challenger to Errol Spence's 147-pound title, plans on fighting this summer. Nothing more, nothing less. He's fighting this summer, you know what I mean? He was supposed to fight the man Errol Spence in January or February of this year. Um, but Errol Spence wasn't available because of the car accident he had last fall, around like November when he got into the car accident. It was in October, November. All right. Errol Spence wasn't ready for that fight yet. So Danny Garcia fought the man Ivan Redcatch. So Danny Garcia is planning on coming back this July, whether it's against Errol Spence. And if not Errol Spence, it doesn't matter who he gets in the ring with. He's just ready for action. So my question is, you think Errol Spence will be back this summer? No tune-up fight, ready to defend against Danny Garcia? Time will tell. We don't even know if we'll get past this virus pandemic that's going on and whether we'll have fights in July. But if you're a fighter, you have to always be ready. You gotta stay ready. You know what I mean? Gotta stay ready because opportunities like this only come every so often. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia, if I were him, this would actually be the moment to seize the moment. And if I were him, I'd be trying to go into this fight, try to take Errol Spence's head off. You know what I mean? Errol Spence hasn't been in the ring since when? Probably since that fight he had last spring, a year ago versus Mikey Garcia, which he got by very easily, comfortably, won on points. But Danny Garcia is a whole different animal, you know what I mean? You check it. I think Danny Garcia wants to get back in position of being a world champion. He has two losses so far in his career. Lost to Sean Porter and to Keith Thurman. At welterweight, Danny Garcia hasn't been that stellar, but he has every chance to right his wrongs in his two title fights that he's lost ever since he came up the division. And he has an opportunity to climb up the pound for pound rankings, a place where he should have been at least at one point in time in his career, especially when he was dominating at 140. But he never got the nod. That's well and fine. Danny Garcia right now is in position to be a two-time multiple division champion, especially a unified champion, if he can beat the man Errol Spence. It's a tough task, but there's no better opportunity than right now. If I were him, I'd be pressing Errol Spence. He is the mandatory. You know what I mean? Sergey Limpinets and some other guy from Russia, Ahmed Dalibdal, who knows? I can't pronounce his name. This guy are going to be fighting for the vacant, or sorry, excuse me, for the interim IBF title, since the man Errol Spence has been missing from action for quite a while. So Sergey Limpinets will fight another fellow Russian or another Eastern Bloc type of fighter for the interim IBF strap, and whomever wins that fight gets to be the mandatory for Errol Spence. You know what I mean? So that's possibly not happening probably till 2021, to be quite honest. But Danny Garcia is the WBC mandatory, and he can get his shot right away, unless the WBC makes an exemption for the man, an exception for the man Errol Spence. You know what I mean? But Danny Garcia, this is the time right now. You know what I mean? Keep put yourself back in position to where you were around 2012, 2013, where you were taking all comers, taking all names, and taking all heads. Don't matter. Undefeated at 140. 147 has been a whole different beast, but I think right now, if I were the man Danny Garcia, I wouldn't be taking Errol Spence lightly, but I'll be thinking he's quite vulnerable. You know what I mean? That's the thing with Errol Spence right about now. Unlike Bud Crawford, he has numerous options. He could go the Danny Garcia route, Manny Pacquiao route if Pacquiao wants to fight him. You know what I mean? Unlike Bud Crawford, who has only one key fight that the whole world wants to see him in, and that's with any of these PBC welterweights, and specifically Errol Spence. So Danny Garcia, man, he can put his name into the to the magic hat, and he can get it done. If he gets it done, he will be the unified champion at 147. You know what I mean? So I'm very curious to see, and I'm eager to find out as soon as we get through this pandemic, God willing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, matter of fact, side note, Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, they refunded me my money. $242 in total. They sent me back my money. I just seen it in my bank account today. You know what I mean? So big ups to Matchroom. Big ups to Eddie Hearn for sending me back my money. Really and truly, I had no problem if y'all kept my money, but then told me, sure, the fight will be rescheduled. The same exact card that was going to be coming to the MGM National Harbor, the same exact card, they'll reschedule it and they'll still have it at the same venue and with the same fighters. Then I'd have no problem. Yeah, keep the money. When the day comes, I'll just roll up in there with proof, of course, proof of purchase. I had no problem with that. But with them sending back a refund, it's looking kind of shaky if that same exact card will come back to the MGM National Harbor. Damn shame if it won't, because these are the first world title fights to come to the Washington D.C. area for 2020. And if you know anything about B March boxing, every year I go to boxing events, world title fights, whenever I can. Every year, one or twice, if possible, if they do come to my city. But quite disappointed that that card got shut down. And Eddie Hearn, if you guys are listening to this, or Matchroom, or any of you Matchroom supporters who do love Eddie Hearn and send Eddie Hearn videos and stuff, if you do reschedule the card, make sure it's on a Saturday night, not a Friday, like you initially had that Maurice Hooker Regis Progress card. Well, nobody want to be rushing out of work or having a bit long weekday, then trying to rush up to the MGM National Harbor. You know what I mean? I'd rather go to a fight on a Saturday per usual. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Errol Spence, Danny Garcia. Time will tell. It's a very good fight on paper. And I think it can be a very competitive fight if Danny Garcia don't keep his hands in his pockets for too long and just strictly waiting to counterpunch. If he tries to apply pressure on Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying, in a smart way, you know what I mean, in an intelligent way, I think he can make the best out of this fight. And like I said, Errol Spence right now might be vulnerable. You know what I mean? You've seen his speech, you've seen his face. His face don't look the same. His face, that guy don't look the same. I was watching Errol Spence at the Tyson and Tyson Fury and Wilder fight. He had some front row seats. He ain't look the same. But that's up to Danny Garcia to let it be known if Errol Spence is the same or can he take advantage of a vulnerable guy. That's exactly why you heard guys like even Manny Pacquiao now all of a sudden mention Errol Spence. Yeah, because they know Errol Spence was in a horrific car accident and he might not be the same. But time will tell. And only the ring, when you get in the ring, that's where the truth is all told. We shall find out. Be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here. Peace.